Hey guys, so it's me again, and today is a little bit of a slow day. It's out here raining. We still did an amazing session today. It was great, and today I want to touch base a little bit about another important aspect of success and how the mindset works. And I want to talk about something that's probably been overlooked amidst all the influencer people and all the exciting lifestyle that has been implemented and that has been uh, shoved into the industry and shoved into the people that are around us. And I guess what I want to really emphasize is the importance of systems. Now, what does it mean? And you might have heard people talking about discipline and people talking about doing the boring things in life and how motivation is not real. And I want to really, really emphasize that aspect of how it actually works. So, say for example, you decide to go on a goal and you decide to say that you're going to lose weight or you're going to start making money and you're going to do something that is going to benefit your life. So you start that process by, first of all, embracing that, all right, this is something that you're going to do because this is something that you want to achieve, and you've decided a goal within yourself. During the first period of that process, you will feel a lot of excitement towards the goal that you want to achieve because that's the goal that you set out yourself to be, right? And the first few days are going to be extremely exciting because you are excited, your adrenaline is high, you feel dopamine, you feel all sorts of those good emotions that you want to feel. But once you do that process for 2 weeks, you start to get in your own head. You start to analyze the results for what they are. And what does that mean? You've been into the gym for 2 hours and you get discouraged because you do not see any results and you do not see anything. And this is exactly what I mean by systems. One of the most successful people in the earth, they do not focus on these splurges of motivations and these splurges of what we call adrenaline rushes or motivation or feeling motivated. They just go by systems. So like I spoke about in yesterday's class and yesterday's session, that the most important thing you need to do is you need to constantly envision your goal and you need to constantly say to yourself the kind of person that you want to be. However, during your process, you will sooner rather than later have some of these boring days. You're going to have these boring days. Some days it's going to be an imperfect day. You're going to be low on energy because you haven't had enough food. You might feel sick. Some days it might be rainy outside like it is today. I'm in Sydney, so today it's raining and the weather is a bit cold. There's always going to be something. Some days you might have had a bad session with your boss or a bad session with a coworker. There's always going to be something that is going to happen, and on those days you might not feel motivated. And it could just be as simple as you've had an extremely boring day and you do not like the situation that you're in. What you need to understand is you need to go back to the basics. You need to develop these systems that you can constantly repeat on. I'll give you an example today. So I woke up today, I started a new habit to go to the gym straight after work, and then I decided that I'm going to do this because I want to save time and I want to manage my time in a more effective and a more concise manner. And when I started that process, I was excited because it was a different process. However, after a couple of days, I noticed that I'm low on energy and I'm having a boring day. And it was easy for me to just give in to that desire and just not do the workout or just have a slow session or just not do the things that I said I was going to do because now this is the boring work. This is the boring mundane work. But believe me when I say this to you that this is the work that will give you results. You're not going to always feel motivated. You're not going to always feel the rush to do something. Some days you might be feeling a lot more pain than the other days. But it's these days that you have to just constantly keep yourself in the loop. You have to remember that some of these days, some of these work processes, some of these things that you set out yourself to achieve, during that process you are going to have some of these boring days. And in those boring days when you do not want to do anything and when nothing feels like it's going to work, you just have to constantly go into that system. You have to constantly go into that system. You have to just repeat that system, because if you look at it in terms of, purely in terms of an emotionless, or in terms of a logical manner, you know that these systems are going to work. But for some reason, what you've done is you've attached your own personal emotion to it, and you've realized in your own subconscious mind that these results, these systems that you set out yourself to achieve, these are not giving you results. For whatever reason it be, it might be the fact that you're not seeing any results, or you feel a bit sluggish, or you're just having a bad day because something happened throughout the day, or you've had a loss. Whatever excuse or whatever reason you've set out yourself, whatever reason it is on the day, you have to give yourself perspective. Imagine if you had been in the gym for your first day, or imagine if you were in the greatest shape of your life. Do you not believe that these systems would still be the same, and you would do the same processes much more effectively? So what's changed? Nothing's changed except for the mindset, except that you've allowed your own mindset to be put into that perspective, and that's stopping you from doing the same thing. And you feel low on energy, and then it starts a constant negative loop, and you do not want to be there. But you have to understand that if you can get yourself through these boring, mundane days where you do not want to wake up, or you do not want to do the things that you've set out yourself to be, this is the work. The work is boring. The work has to be done. You're not always going to feel motivated. You're not always going to feel high on energy. This is exactly how it is. But when I say this to you with all my heart and with the results that I've achieved within my own self, when I first started off into the gym, I was 120 kilos. I weigh 71 kilos this morning, and my body fat lies less than 10%. When I tell you that I followed these systems from A to B every day on a repeated basis, not caring about what my results are, not caring about how my emotions are, because during those days I've had some pretty bad days during those days, and it could just be my own mindset. I might be having a bad day, I might be missing my family, a bad breakup, could be anything or everything. But you have to understand that if you can push yourself through these days, if you can constantly develop your mindset to be in that scenario where you're allowing yourself to achieve results regardless of your dopamine levels, regardless of whatever outcome or whatever physical or the actual results that you might not be seeing, if you can follow these systems on a repeated basis, you will see results. Yes, after an extended period of time, if you look at yourself and you realize that the systems that you've created are not achieving results, then you set better systems. It may be that you've done something for a 6 months period of time and you followed the exact systems that you planned on, and you said, I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to achieve a certain level of confidence, and you constantly follow that system. And after 6 months, you realize that the results are not in alignment with what you set out yourself to be. Then you go back to the drawing board and then you develop new systems. But the key is to disregard your emotions, disregard how you feel about the situation, and be absolutely disciplined and be absolutely honest with yourself, and follow those systems on a repeated basis. Because I'm telling you right now that when you're on this path to improve your life, you will not always feel motivated. I'm telling you right now that you're gonna feel disheartened, you're gonna feel like you fucked up, you feel like you're not on the right path. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. It's completely normal. The only key is to just keep going through the same loop again and again and again and again and again. And even when you see the slightest of the results, even when you see the slightest of the wins, you will start a rolling effect. You will start this effect that will soon follow your whole life. You will start to see results, and then you will start another win, another win, another win, another win. But till you achieve that win, you just have to constantly climb that ladder until you reach out to either achieve your results or go back to the drawing board and then set yourself out to where you want to be, and then realign your systems to where you exactly want to be. Because it could just be that your systems that you've devised are not in alignment with the ideal goal that you set out yourself to be, right? It's completely normal to be in that scenario. But this is exactly where your mindset, where your discipline comes in. That, are you being honest to yourself during the process? Are you just saying, no, I'm not seeing results, I'm not going to continue? Or you've done this thing for 6 months, exactly the same how you say you're going to be, and you're still not getting any results. Then you tweak it a little bit. But during that process, do not give up. What it does to your mindset is it gives you a false scenario that you are not ready for the situation, that you can't trust yourself, you can't trust the own decision that you made out in the first place, and then can't stick to it. And this is where the negative effect comes in. If you constantly feel like you don't feel enough confident, you don't feel like the strength to be able to communicate yourself more effectively, it's because you are not allowing yourself to be successful. You are not following your own systems, you are not following your own self to be exactly where you want to be. If you do the things that you said you are going to do on a repeated basis, I'm telling you right now that there's no way that you will not achieve success. That's the only formula to achieve success. Build some systems, go back to the drawing board, follow those systems again and again, again and again, again and again. And how do you build these systems? That's a whole other topic. That's for another day, on how you actually build these systems that will give you the results that you want to be. You have to follow a whole lot of procedure. But when you are putting yourself into the systems that you said you are going to follow, do not ever quit. Do not ever disalign yourself with that system. And that's exactly what discipline is. Devising a system and then just following it on a repeated basis, and not worry about the boring works. You might hear a lot of influencers talk about the boring work, the disciplined work, the repeated work. That's exactly what that is. This is what makes successful people successful, because they don't go by just rushes of motivation. They don't go by just these high dopamine levels. What they maintain is systems that will take them to a higher place, and then they might feel less on energy, but what they do is they follow those systems on a repeated basis, because you will feel pain. You will feel pain regardless of if you don't follow your systems or not. The only choice you really have to make is, what kind of pain do you want to feel? Do you want to feel the pain of achievement? Do you want to feel the pain of regret after? Or do you want to achieve the pain of just boredom, constantly doing it on a repeated basis till you actually see a little bit of result? So I hope this helped you a little bit. Stick to the systems. Take care.